German, your actions defy reason, but you seem driven by a sense of purpose.
I do have a purpose, Takeo. A purpose you will come to share. You only have to trust me.
You trade on lies and deceit, Richtofen. Give me one reason why I should trust you.
I don't have time to explain now, but I have a message for you. A message from the Emperor.
What do you know of the Emperor? It has been so long. I feared he had abandoned me, forgotten me.
You have not been forgotten, Takeo. Stay strong, and your path will become illuminated.
I do not understand your riddles, German. How will my path become illuminated?
The spirits of your ancestors are not the only voices you will hear, Takeo. Trust your instincts. Listen to them.
Last night I had a dream. I dreamt of a house with children.
Yes, hold on to that thought, Takeo. In time, you will come to learn the significance of your visions.
Okay, at first, we just hear about how, kind of these trust issues and stuff like that. But then Richtofen says that he has a message for Takeo from the Emperor, which is, we actually never hear the actual message, but however, we do hear something interesting that is super cool, because how the heck in the first place did Richtofen get this message? How did he meet him? Of course, we know that he's been on these travels separate from them for 2 years, from the other the 3 characters, my mistake, for 2 years. So he could have, but what was he doing talking to the Emperor? And did the Emperor know that he was going to go back and meet Takeo? I'm not too sure. Of course, that is super interesting. I have no idea why the Emperor would even know of what Takeo's even doing. And then Richtofen goes on to tell Takeo that the voices you will hear are not only the ones of your ancestors. You'll also hear other ones. And he says, tells him to listen to your instinct, whatever. But I want to just stay a little bit on this, because what other voices could he be hearing? Of course, if we listen to the radio over there, he's talking about his dreams are haunted with for a man in shadow. But I'll come back to that. So I'm not too sure if that's like a voice in his head, because he says his dreams. So what are these voices he could possibly be hearing that are not his ancestors? So again, any ideas down in the comments. Okay, then we hear Takeo tell Richtofen something super, super interesting. He says, last night I had a dream and I dreamt of a house with children in it. And Richtofen responds, yes, hold on to that thought. In time you will learn the significance of your vision. So I want to digress just into Takeo's quote. He says, when he says, talking about the children, so he dreamed of them. So that's super cool, because in the radio later, he says it's haunted with his dreams are haunted with a man in shadows. So maybe, I'm not sure, because maybe he's saying that maybe this shadow man, this is assuming that it is a shadow man, but it kind of seems obvious at this point. But the shadow man's actually got into where the children are. Of course, it could be easily explained that Richtofen's holding the summoning key that has a shadow man trapped in it, which he's not sure if we're not sure if he's actually aware of the shadow man actually being in there, though. So that was that, and that's it for Richtofen's quote. So next one you guys are going to hear is Dempsey and Nikolai.
Can I trust you, Nikolai? Because last time I checked, we were enemies.
When did you last check? We were allies in all 3 world wars. Richtofen seems to think he has some kind of plan.
I'm not so sure about that. I think he's fucking delusional.
When Richtofen speaks of putting things right, do you think he has found a way to end this nightmare?
After France, I'm starting to believe that anything is possible.
Maybe there is a way to end all of this. To return to our homes, our old lives, our families.
Our families? How many wives is it you've had, Nikolai? I gotta be honest, I lost count.
As a Russian, I know how to endure, how to survive. Dare I hope for something more than that?
You can dare, but I don't know if it'll do any good. In my experiences, wishes hardly ever come true.
Okay, so right away Dempsey asked Nikolai if he can trust him, and he said last time I checked we were enemies, but Nikolai responds with, when was the last time you checked? We were allies in the last 3 world wars. So this is interesting right away because 3 world wars. So of course we were, America was allies with the Soviet Union in World War II, and I don't think it was called the Soviet Union during World War I. I don't think so, but they were also allies back in World War I too. So that's interesting. So was this World War III, and why would Dempsey think they were enemies? And why do they even know about even a Second World War? If you remember, they were like kind of they were back in World War I is when they first met in 1918. So I'm not too sure what he can mean by Third World War. So maybe when they were traveling themselves, they went to the far future and they went and saw another world war, or it could be something else entirely. And if that's true, then if they were allies in even this Third World War, why does Dempsey think they are enemies? Unless he's talking about, I guess, during the Cold War or something like that. That's the only other time I can think that Russia and America were actually enemies. I know they're not friends, but they're not enemies at the point. So don't want to spend any more time on that. Then he goes on to say that Richtofen seems to have a plan, but Dempsey seems like he thinks that Richtofen's delusional. But Nikolai asked Dempsey if when Richtofen talks about putting things right, do you think he's found a way to end this nightmare? So this is pretty cool because it seems like even though Nikolai hates Richtofen, he still believes he can actually he's not sure if he's actually, when he's saying putting things right, is to end this, because he doesn't know if that actually means, because who knows what Richtofen's idea of putting things right are. So he doesn't exactly know, but it seems like he still has hope in Richtofen. He hates him, but he thinks he can actually save this thing type of deal. I don't know, like fix this. So then Nikolai says maybe there is a way to end all of this, to go back to our old lives, our old homes, and our families. Everyone's heard that, but Dempsey doesn't seem so enthused about this idea. He kind of he's there saying something hopeful, and then Dempsey kind of just knocks him down, saying, "Family? How many wives have you had?" I lost count. And just he kind of, I don't know what Dempsey said that. Why? Unless he's just trying to be a jerk, or I don't know. Maybe he doesn't exactly want to go back to his old life or something. I have no idea. It's just super strange that he would just it's like, I'm trying to say something hopeful here. You don't have to be a jerk about it. Of course, he could obviously be a jerk about it. So that's about it for this one. I'll let you guys listen in to the Dempsey Takio conversation.
Hey, Tak, we gotta keep an eye on Richtofen. I don't know what he's up to, but I don't like it.
I share your concerns, Dempsey. We would be wise to remain cautious.
Did you notice him doing something weird when we first got here?
Weird describes much of what Richtofen does.
Right after he popped himself, when we were holding back the horde, Richtofen knelt down over the body. Why?
Perhaps he was paying respects to his foreign self.
We gotta piece it all together, Tak. Why the fuck did he come here? Again?
We know not where Richtofen has traveled, but I believe his experiences have changed him.
Wherever he's been, whatever he's been through, I'm not sure Richtofen's any less crazy than before.
Mysteries will reveal themselves in time. They always do. This is the nature of our quest.
Okay, at first they were just talking about how Takio was just saying that they should be cautious with with Richtofen. Then Dempsey asks Takio about Richtofen doing something with his body, at the start. So Takio kind of isn't any help because he just says maybe he was paying respect to his fallen self, but he's no help. So it seems like Dempsey just moves on, saying that we have to put the pieces together. And why did he come? Okay, why did he come here again? Okay, that is so interesting right there. He said, this is interesting because if you guys remember back when I was talking about Nikolai's quote, when he's talking to Richtofen, he says, "Why are we here?" Now, Nikolai, because Nikolai asked Nikolai asked Richtofen if, why are we here? But now, it seems like Dempsey is telling Takeo, asking Takeo, why did oh my gosh, I get the names mixed up. Why did Richtofen come here? So it seems like, and he also said it again. So it seems like this isn't the first time that not Richtofen, Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai have been here, or it's not the first time that oh my gosh, I keep getting the names mixed up. Forgive me, but why? Richtofen, that's his name, and why he's been here so many times. I mean, has come here again. So it seems like he came here by himself, and that's so weird because Nikolai, it made it sound like they came together. Now it seems like he kind of intruded on their Three Musketeers thing. But I don't want to spend that much time, even though it's really interesting. But Takeo responds saying, but it seems like he has changed. It's actually no, that's later on. He said, but it kind of seems like Takeo kind of changed the subject though, which we don't know why he would actually change the subject from that. I don't know why. It seems like he's doing something to defend Richtofen. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember his name for nothing. And then he goes on to say, we know not of where Richtofen's traveled, and that he says these experiences he has experienced have changed him. But Dempsey, it says he still thinks Richtofen's still as crazy as before. And Takeo says something actually strange. I'm not too sure if this actually has to do with anything, but I just found it really strange. I decided to mention it real fast, that mysteries reveal themselves with time. They always do. So, not too sure why I could actually say that. I just want to throw it in because I found it super interesting. Okay, I'll let you guys listen to the last conversation.
Besides our thirst for battle, you and I have little in common, Nikolai.
You are mistaken, Takeo. I have no thirst for battle. I fight because I have to.
You have a great disdain for the German. Why does your hatred run so deep?
Do I really need to explain that? I mean, really? Have you forgotten Richtofen's thirst for chaos? He is a monster, an animal.
He is a troubled soul. I can see it in his eyes. But a monster? Huh, I think not. We know not of the journey Richtofen has taken. He may hold more wisdom than you realize.
I fear any wisdom he holds will only be used to advance his own agendas.
We will only survive if we all work together, Nikolai. You know this in your heart.
Richtofen was the one who left us in the dark, Takeo. We have no idea what he has been doing.
Okay, so we hear Takeo and Nikolai talking, and Takeo first asks Nikolai why he hates Richtofen, and Richtofen responds, and Nikolai responds as if it were a stupid question. So he's like, isn't it obvious, dude? But then he still answers saying that Richtofen is a monster, an animal. And actually, Takeo responds saying, Richtofen is a troubled soul, but a monster? I think not. So nobody knows why exactly Nikolai hates him still. Even Takeo is confused why he hates him so much. But the whole conversation from there on just seems like Nikolai attacking Richtofen and Takeo defending him. So with that, I know this video has been going on for a long time, so if you guys have stayed to this point, thank you so much. But I want to mention one more thing. It's going to take a little bit. So this is going to be talking about how we can tell how the relationships are between these four characters actually are. So let me just talk about Richtofen first. Of course, Nikolai, we can tell, hates him, but he believes that there's still a possibility he can actually end this. And Dempsey doesn't trust him at all. And Takeo, he actually seems like he can trust Richtofen, but he's cautious. He's still cautious around him. Then let's talk about Dempsey. But Takeo and Dempsey, it seems like everyone feels the same way about them. So let's move on. But this one I found super interesting. Nikolai. It seems like Dempsey is not sure if he can trust him because because obviously he asked him at the start of their conversation. And Takeo thinks his judgment is clouded because of hate. And Richtofen, it says that their ideologies diametrically oppose each other. So it's just super weird. I'm not too sure. So I actually might just break this into 2 separate videos because this is pretty long. I probably will. This is already, you guys are probably watching part 2. So hope you guys enjoyed these 2 things because this is a super long video, super long thing. So like I said, don't forget to, actually I haven't said that yet, come think of it. But don't forget to like and subscribe. This took me a long time. I had to break down everything, edit all this stuff. It would really appreciate if you would like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video.